Hey dolls, I'm here to do a review for Curly Nikki's book, Better Than Good Hair. So, if you all know, she's been promoting and advertising that she was writing a book. And for me, I'm the type of person who likes to get useful information to utilize it, whether it be through blogs, hearsay, YouTube, or from a book. I read this book fully from cover to cover yesterday. I got it Friday, and after reading it, I was dying. When I say dying, I was dying to do a review for you guys, but it was like 2 in the morning, and I was like, you know what? Let me get all my thoughts together before, doing this review. So I got the book. I bought it from Amazon. It was about $8.99 with the Kindle edition, which is the book that I have. And I read it, and I have so much to touch on this. I'm going to, dissect the book because, this is going to be my first actual book review. I'm used to doing product reviews, so I'm going to just go from, chapter to chapter and, let you go how I feel about it. So, beginning, she does some dedications, and then she has, and Kim Wayne's give her insight on, what made her go natural in her hair journey and things like that. So we're going to skim over to chapter 1, which is the big chop. That's what it looks like. Okay, so basically it goes into depth about, transitioning without losing your mind is what it really says. It goes from, having relaxed hair to the big chop to, transitioning. For me, I was a spontaneous big chopper. I just decided I had enough and just chopped all my hair. So she has, testimonies from different, I believe, YouTube gurus on here and natural hair divas from blogs and, Facebook and YouTube as well. Um, she goes on to having her therapy corner, which I believe she has on her site, which I'm not really a fan of her site because I just felt, the realness of the site was lost somewhere in between all the advertisements that she has throughout it. But that's my opinion. So she goes on of health reasons that some people do the big chop. For me, I have a person in my family who has health reasons. My aunt has a brain tumor, so she was told by her, doctor that it would be best for her to stop using chemicals, so she decided to go natural. Congratulations to her, but yeah. So it goes on through transitioning, and a lot of things in this book that I did not like is the fact that many of this information that was on here you can find browsing through YouTube or through blogs and through different Facebook community pages and likes and things like that. One of the things that I seen and was like kind of in my mind like, okay, why are you showing this? Everybody should know this from YouTube if you do decide you do your research, right? She shows the roller set. She shows, the steps on how to do it, how to do a fake bun, a braid out and curl, the actual big chop, what to do now, things like that. And that's everything that goes through on the first chapter. So now, she goes to after the big chop, and different people do different testimonials, which for somebody who's newly natural it'll be helpful, but for me I was more into trying to see maybe I could find something that's going to help me continue with my journey, being that I'm 2 years into the game already, and some of this information is not really helpful for me. So she goes on to which transitioning to make it easier, and this is all in the first chapter. Then she has other people also doing a lot of testimonials in here, not that much information. She goes on the transition routine guide, how daily routines, how, things will help you within your journey if you stick to the routine, things like that. Nightly routine, weekly routine, and, once again, another testimonial or Big Chopper's sound off. And this person is Autumn. Not familiar with her, but, she gives her 2 cents in the matter of it. So now, she goes from that to chapter 2, which is the TWA. Once again, newly natural, good information. A seasoned natural like myself, not really helping. I'm far past the TWA stage. So I'm just going to skim through that because that's not going to help me at all. So now, she was embracing, falling in love, hair accessories. So let's go to, product junkies. We've all been through that. Some of us are still in that stage, but I'm far past that product junkie. Okay, so let's try this. And it's just so much information that's not really, useful for myself. Like one of the styles that she has in here is the flat twist in the front and leave the rest out. And she shows a diagram, which for newly natural will be helpful. But I already been there, done that. So that's not helping me a bit. Okay, so now chapter 3, which I thought would help me, is the terrible twos. So she starts by saying, standing by your hair even when it's acting a fool. So she goes on talking about, the length is different, how family and friends no longer give you the same compliments, how you found products that your hair loves that fit within your budget. Basically, how you are so in tune with your hair at this present moment that, you get bored from it, you lose motivation, you no longer get the same compliments, and yada, yada, yada. For me, I can attest to that because once I hit, two, terrible twos, which I call it, some of my favorite products were no longer working. At the same token, I was no longer getting the same comments as I did in the first year. And, I don't think it has to do anything with just being the terrible twos. I think it just has to be the fact that I'm persistent with the journey and people already seen it and, already know that this is something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. So what is the point of them giving me compliments every day? I'm used to, oh, I love your hair, getting it from other people other than, family members and people who see me on a, day-to-day basis. So I'm not really, upset that I don't get compliments anymore, but I get compliments from outsiders. So in a way I can understand, but this is something I already know. So this is not really helping me. So she has another person giving their 2 cents once again, and you're going to find out throughout this book. That's the whole, standard of it. You're going to find a lot of testimonials. You're going to find a lot of things that you already came across and know that. For me, I have that moment where I become very bored with my hair and twist outs, braid outs, and the puff is just not doing it for me. Like right now at this present moment, I'm literally at the moment where I can no longer do puffs the way I used to. I used to be able to just wash it and put it in a goodie band, puff it up and go. Now my hair, the length is so ridiculous that when I do a puff, I have to find myself tucking in with pins so I can get the shape that I want to. And it has nothing to do with, being in the terrible twos. It's just that's the way my hair is growing now. It's to the point where, my favorite styles no longer work. And I'm okay with that. It just lets me know that I have to do a little bit more in order for my hair to be the way that I want it to. So she tells how you can do a 30-day protective style, put your hair in braids, wigs, and weaves, which is something all curly friends know already. Like, because you're natural doesn't mean that you have to stop doing the things you did prior. I'm aware of that. So she goes on to saying your lazy hair routine, style challenges, and to make the decision of going natural products versus commercial. And, for me, I kind of enjoyed this section because it gives the pros and cons. But for me, I'm natural, but I'm not natural. And when I say natural, it means not all my products are 100% natural. And I do this for the simple fact that I feel that I've tried that. It didn't really work for me. I didn't get the same results as I did with products, more commercial products such as Beautiful Textures, Curls and Leash, Miss Jessie's, even some products that I didn't like, I ended up liking again. Like for me, Shea Moisture was my go-to when I was a TWA stage. Now, not so much. So, pros and cons. And then she goes to more. You're gonna get. I'm letting you guys know, and I stress this a lot. You're gonna get a lot of testimonials from different people, and it's cool to have your friends in the book. But to me, this is supposed to be a book that's supposed to guide me towards healthy, natural hair, not somebody else's journey or somebody else's take on it. I want information that I can utilize, information that I can pass on to somebody. I want to be able to recommend your book to somebody else and not saying that I'm bashing the book, but it's not all that it was cracked up for me. So in the same chapter, she goes on, 5 organic products curl friends should have in their collection, which is all products we know: shea butter, aloe vera, jojoba extract, extra virgin olive oil. So pretty much same thing, showing you the perfect puff, which everybody knows, fro hawks, twist outs, how to elongate your hair, rods. Okay. Chapter 4, the golden years. So overall, I'm not going to bore you guys by going through each and every chapter, which I was going to, but honestly, for me, this is just not my cup of tea. And I'm not saying it as someone who's saying, oh my God, the book is horrible. For a seasoned natural, it's not for you. I would say for me, I would have better spent my money getting the Science of Natural Black Hair, or whatever it's called, the Science of Black Hair, For me, I felt that had more useful information versus this one. You know, even though the price point is not as expensive as I would expect, you know, when the pre-order was going on, they were selling it a little bit more for the hardcover versus the Kindle. And I've noticed that Kindle books are a little bit cheaper because it's, you know, not paper, it's, you know, digital copies. But for me, I was so upset once I finished the book because there was not that much that I did not know already. The only thing that I can honestly say that was helpful for me was the pros and cons of, you know, natural products versus commercial products. That was very helpful for me. As the book continues to go on, it hits chapters for, children and hair, your hair and your child's hair, how you may have different textures, how to, help with children's hair, things like that. I just feel as a person who wanted to find out information to help me have gorgeous natural hair that more useful information should have been obtained. Instead of spending your money to get this book, you're better off blogging and vlogging and checking YouTube and checking her site. Like most of this information is from her site. You're better off with that. I was thinking I was looking for a more condensed version of everything that will help me say, oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. That's what I'm doing right. I didn't get that. I more overall got more of her selling her name towards a book versus her putting her 100% in it. And for me, as a person who went out and paid for this book, I am very disappointed. I really want a refund. And I feel, a lot of YouTubers on here are saying for you to go and get the book because they feel that, they're probably incorporated some way in there. She has a lot of YouTubers in there. A lot of them that you won't know who they are unless you subscribe to them, or a lot of them that you won't know because, it's not like she says this person on YouTube. They use their full name. But for me, I feel like these people are gearing towards us to spend more money towards a book that's not really going to help you if you're really familiar with your hair. You know what I'm saying? Like, I already know I was a product junkie. I already know how to do a puff. I already know how to do a twist out. I know how to do the tension method. I know how to elongate my twists with pins, and I know how to do protective styles. I know that weaves, wigs, braids will help me retain length. Why are you telling me all the stuff that I already know if nothing in here is new and nothing in here is, information I can use? It's more generic for me because I feel like I already learned this from African Export. I already learned this from Natural 85. I already learned this from Lady T. I've learned this from many different YouTubers that I subscribe to. So why am I buying your book if you're not telling me anything that's new? You know what I'm saying? Like, all this I already knew. So I feel like, what the hell did I get this book for if I'm not getting anything that I already know? Like, for me, I got the book, and, when I first got it, I was very excited and was like, oh, okay, I'm going to find some information that's going to help me with my journey because, I'm not going to say that I'm 100%, knowing what I'm doing in this. Like, a lot of this is trial and error, and a lot of it is from learning from other people's mistakes. And, I've learned that some of the manipulation, some of the things that I did to my hair was stopping me from retaining length, and I cut it out quickly. But for you to write a book, and now that I'm looking at it, I don't even believe that the book is 100% her. I think she had somebody helping her with it. Yeah, Nikki Walton with Ernest T. Carter. I'm thinking that you're lending your likeness and your name to this book to gear more people to run and get it. And what I was even more upset about is, the book itself is not a lot of pages. My take. And, a lot of people did their, little highlights of what they felt would help and what, things like that. And I'm not going to say 100% that I didn't find, a couple things that I didn't know. But 90% of the things in this book I already knew off the bat. And that's because I've been in this hair thing for quite a while now. 2 years for me is a long time. I transitioned for 6 months, and I've been 2 years natural. Probably a little bit more because after I hit, the 1 year, I really honestly stopped counting how many months I did because I knew what I needed. I knew what I had to do. That's it. So for me to go run out and get this book and be 100% disappointed is, not a good thing for me. And, a lot of people is going to probably have their opinions, but this is my opinion. I feel as a natural hair African American woman who ran out to support the author that this book is not what it's cracked up to be. And honestly, I can say that I learned more off of YouTube and more off of transitioning to naturals on Facebook, more off of Black women with long hair off of Facebook, more off of support groups in Facebook and YouTubers such as African Explorer, Natural 85, you know, people such as that who helped me because they've been in the game just as long as, you know, she has. And I just feel like, you know, a book like this, for someone to sit and make a book and try to say, you know, this is going to help you, it shouldn't. You should honestly say, okay, some of the information you may know, but, you know, support my cause. Everybody's trying to make a dollar. Everybody's trying to make a worth off, you know, networking and stuff that they know of. But for you to say that this is going to help me, and then at the end of the day, I'm reading this book. It took me a day to read it. And then I'm like, I know that. I already knew that. And then I come across one or two things like, oh, okay, I didn't really know that. Like, it's not helpful for me. It's not helping me in my journey at all. And the thing that I really hated also is before I bought the book, I was, you know, weighing between, you know, The Science of Black Hair and, you know, this book. And the reviews for both were pretty, you know, gearing towards and deceiving. Like, for this book, she had maybe 36 reviews, and out of 5 stars, she had 4 stars. For me, I get a book based on 4 stars and up. I never get anything that's below because I feel like, you know, enough people reviewed it enough for me to say, okay, I'm going to get it. But for someone to sit and write reviews saying and praising and saying this book is the best and things like that is deceiving because you have people thinking that the book is the best thing since sliced bread, and it's really not. So I wrote a review myself, and I wrote the review, and I was honest about it. I'm not going to say anything that's not honest, and that's not how I roll on this channel at all. I have reviews on things that I didn't like, reviews on things I did like, and nobody's paying me for my opinion because everybody's opinion is like assholes. Everybody has one. But this is my opinion. I feel the book is not worth for a person who's in the game for 2 years, a year and a half, or, you know, a newly natural. This is the book for you. But someone who's seasoned like myself, it's not. So out of 5 stars, honestly, I'm giving this book 3.5. And that's because I didn't learn anything that I didn't know other than maybe two things, that the pros and cons of natural product versus commercial. That's about it. That's all I can think of right now that really helped me. Other than that, everything else did not, you know, help me or did not speak volumes to me. So that's the reason why I'm giving this review that. And, you know, this is probably the longest review I had, but, you know, like I said, I'd rather give my opinion than for you to go out and run to your nearest Barnes & Nobles or run to Amazon or wherever you get your books and say, I'm going to buy it. You know, if you can borrow it, honestly, borrow it from somebody because you'll save yourself the trouble. So that's all for now, dolls. I'll be back. I have some other reviews, some other things, but, you know, think twice before you go out and buy because, like I said, you probably can find this information on YouTube or a blog or something else. So,